So, I brought out the doll hair because it's cold and it's October, so I can totally get away with wearing doll hair out in public and people will just think I'm Halloweening it. So, I'm going to be talking about fentanyl. Oh, I better drink this. Almost got talking about it and forgot to drink this disgusting juice. It's just kale with turmeric and black pepper. Yeah. Okay, I'm procrastinating. Wow. Hot lemon and honey is the best. I might have a kale tomorrow. James will let me know. James is having the same thing with a shot of ginger. I already have my shot of ginger. When I had an earlier hot lemon and honey, I had a shot of ginger first. And it was horrible. But the hot lemon and honey was good. James is having, we got these chicken quesadilla packages given to us from Costco, which I'm very thankful for because the Chihuahuas got to eat chicken. I had to wash off the seasoning first, but that came off really easily. And James is having omelet mixed with the cabbagey slaw stuff and cheese that went with it on the little bread things that went with it, tortilla things. Anyway, I'm talking about Fentanyl Incorporated. So, this book by Ben Westhoff was published this year, so 2019. And I'm just going to go through my notes. They're not very long. Page 9, drug sales via the dark web, which I think is funny, saying the dark web, because, I mean, when I started looking in on the internet, when it started, then it was all basically, that's what it was. I mean, you put in some keyword search and you got everything. It was like, oh, I'm looking at pictures of dead bodies all of a sudden, you know, like when you're trying to look at body art because you're interested in tattooing or whatever. It's interesting. But anyway, the most famous of these markets is Silk Road, which was founded by Ross Albright, libertarian and magic mushroom salesman. His business became $1 billion one between 2011 and 2013. So there's huge money that's been made in this recently. A rogue DEA agent sold him tips at $50,000 per tip, so he could evade capture for that long. So he was kept changing code and stuff to try to stay away from the, or at least that's the story, right? So he could evade capture for that long. I'm going with that's the story. Alpha Bay grew into an even bigger business before it was shut down in 2017. Payment Bitcoin. Page 10. Fentanyl is so much stronger than heroin. It's cheaper and comes in smaller packages. Daniel Vivaceron had come to Canada as a child and ended up in Quebec prison.
Where did he come from? What's his name again?
Huh? I should have written that down. It's on page 10. Here, you look it up. I meant to write it down. I guess I didn't. Where he used it, page 10, his access to the dark web to order fentanyl from China and then paid someone outside prison to cut the product with mannitol, diuretic laxative, which helps with the constipation that comes from opioid use. In November 2014, Hubbard placed an order with Saron for 750 grams of fentanyl with a street value of $1.5 million. So 750 grams does not seem like a lot. That's some huge value there in terms of money. and I suppose to drug people. That has values too, whatever. Law enforcement was tracking Hubbard through a boy who had bought from him. Apparently it's commonly smoked. I didn't know that. James was trying to tell me this, and I'm like, no, they smoke crack. Apparently also fentanyl. I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know that. I just knew the one consumption site that were offering that form of consumption.
Interesting.
I didn't realize it'd be for fentanyl.
Oh, maybe it wasn't. I'm not
So
sure.
where was Buddy from?
Colombia. How
Okay.
does he make it into Canada? Oh, he's a butterfly. Remember those people who are handing out butterflies because there should be no borders?
Yeah.
There's no borders for butterfly. Boy, sweet butterfly.
27. Purdue used salespeople to sway doctors to prescribe OxyContin. Doctors who attended their pain management seminars in 1996 were more than 2 times as likely to prescribe OxyContin than doctors who didn't attend. These seminars were held in tropical locations. So Purdue basically provided doctors with an expense-paid vacation in the tropics in order to convince them to be their drug mules. Purdue's salespeople claimed that less than 1% of Oxy patients would become addicted, while Purdue's study from 1999 found a 13% addiction rate.
That's pretty low. I didn't get addicted when I was taking it for cancer.
Insys Therapeutics, this is page 29, made prescription fentanyl spray called Subsys. Insys bribed doctors to prescribe Subsys. The spray is only approved for cancer patients, but doctors have been known to prescribe it for lesser conditions for kickbacks. 2016 law signed
Good old
by
doctors.
Obama.
You keep it going, doctors.
Yeah, called the Ensuring Patient Access and Effective Drug Enforcement Act, made it harder for the DEA to freeze suspicious opiate shipments. The law had been sponsored by Pennsylvania Representative Tom Marino, who at the time of the investigation's publication was President Trump's nominee for drug czar. 51. By 2016, fentanyl was killing more Americans annually than any other drug in American history. Page 64. Safrole is found in nutmeg and other spices. It was once used as an ingredient in root beer made before the FDA banned it. The easiest way to make MDMA, I don't know this stuff. It's like ecstasy, apparently. The easiest way to make it is to use safrole, and safrole smells like licorice, and it's harvested from sassafras trees found in East Asia and North America. In America, the American trees don't make enough oil to be profitable, and I'm doubting that's true. I think it's just they don't want people going out and
raiding
the
orchards.
Yeah, well, there's not very many. I don't think there's very many of them left anyway. And anyway, they'd be going out on what's that hike called? The one that Bill Bryson went on with
Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, they'd be going out down there and just wrecking the wild. So
True.
Anyway, in Myanmar, Vietnam, China, and Cambodia, sassafras trees became a cash crop. Trees cut down, roots spoiled for almost a week. Produce sold at $200 a gallon. Each gallon makes thousands of ecstasy tablets. The farmer often didn't know what it was used for, or care, I put in brackets. One thought it was used to make an atomic bomb. Page 83. K2 is not a plant. It's a chemical compound dissolved in acetone and sprayed on dried plant leaves to resemble marijuana. K2 withdrawal is worse than fentanyl withdrawal. You puke constantly, daily, and your skin turns green. It takes weeks to recover. Page 84, 2018, Pennsylvania State University College of Medicine researchers found 10 synthetic cannabinoids that stopped colorectal cancer cells from growing. 86, THC isn't very potent. Synthetic cannabinoids have no THC. They bind to cannabinoid receptors. THC lowers blood pressure, but synthetic cannabinoids increase blood pressure. 87, CBD oil has health benefits. November 2018 study by Virginia Commonwealth University researchers showed that legally sold hemp-derived CBD products from a company called Diamond CBD contained a synthetic cannabinoid called 5-FADB, despite claims that their oils were 100% natural. The company's independent testing didn't find any synthetic cannabinoid. Whatever. Hai Jun Tian probably,
Yeah.
was importing a synthetic cannabinoid called ABFUBINACA
Easy for you to
from his Chinese factory into Los Angeles in 2015. The factory was making 2 tons of fake marijuana a month. The DEA wanted Tian to get a 70-year sentence, but the judge gave him 30 months. His manufacturing plant exploded in 2013. Lucky for him, while the Americans were investigating him. Page 88, the raw compounds are bought from Chinese or Indian manufacturers for as little as $1,000 a kilogram. The vendors then soak dried plant leaves in kiddie pools full of chemicals or combine them inside cement mixers.
So that guy was from China.
March 2016, in Florida, police responded to dozens of calls about people consuming spice. 89, 2016, that's page 89. 130 K2 overdoses suspected in New York. People purchase drugs in Brooklyn in an area known to be called a zombie land. 91, new types of acid have little in common with LSD. 109, 251 N-bomb put them into loops. Into thought loops. So they were just repeating the same thing or thinking the same thing over and over. Veins narrowed and restricted blood flow, and sometimes people died. Page 116, N-bombs drug creates problems by thickening the blood and thinning blood vessels, says Dr. David Caldecott of Australia National University Medical School. Page 127, public health studies show that most users don't want fentanyl. It's often cut into drugs that they want. Powder put into gel caps called beans. Page 130, N-bombs don't show up on drug tests. 151, for crime kingpins, wrote Canada's Global News in 2018, November. Fentanyl has become a source of such astonishing wealth that it has disrupted the Vancouver area real estate market. 152, fentanyl arrives via post from China. Some is then smuggled down into U.S. Page 203, fentanyl is permitted for medical use in China, and it's legally made there, and in U.S., Belgium, India, etc. Page 217, corruption is common in China, but it's no Guinea-Bissau, West African country. I don't even know that country.
It's
It must
very
be
small.
really tiny.
Very small.
Where cocaine-related corruption reached top levels of government in the 2000s. Page 231. 1909, U.S. law banned opium. 1971, Nixon war on drugs. 1980s, Reagan, harsher penalties for drug crimes. 1994, crime bill by Clinton. 3 strikes law helped crowd prisons. And the author mentions that it's mostly, the prisons are crowded mostly with African American and Latino.
Of course.
But
It's a way of depriving them of their vote. Because I think now if you've had a conviction for felony, I think you're deprived of the vote or something.
but I mean, honestly, well, you know, if you have, I guess, what do you do when you have your kids and you can't possibly convince them, look, this will affect your whole life, so don't be an idiot, right?
Yeah, it's about the worst thing you could say.
Yeah.
Your whole life, man.
Page 256, heroin taken in proper doses usually doesn't kill people. Fentanyl and dirty needles do. Page 264, Americans take more opiates per capita than any other country in the world. Canada's a second, and both take far more than Europeans. Americans take 4 times the opiates as those in the UK do. What was I going to say about... Oh, I was going to talk about Orange is the New Black. Season 6. I just watched it.
Actually, I gotta go inside.
It's too cold?
It's good.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good segue.